Welcome to the Real Estate Detective. I'm Andy, a former home inspector turned real estate agent, and I help buyers buy smarter. Today's Buy Smarter tip is how to look for termites in a basement. So when I was a home inspector, I could walk into a basement in about 5 minutes. I would pretty much be able to know if that house had termites or not, just because I knew exactly what to look for, where to look, what to poke, and some of the subtle clues that most people just don't pick up on. Unfortunately, about 50% of my buyers, when they'd find out that the house had termites, they were just no longer interested in the house. They wanted to walk, which is fine with me. They can do whatever they want. My goal was never to scare, it was just to educate and help them kind of navigate through any hurdles that I would find. So my goal with this video is to help you buy smarter by saving you time, money, and stress during the real estate process by teaching you some of the obvious things to look out for in basements when it comes to termites. And at the end, I'm going to end with a very practical application of what would I personally do if a house had termites? How would I approach that? What is my thinking? Because I want to not only teach you, but teach you what does this look like in real time as we're working through a real estate transaction. And maybe you decide to buy the house, maybe you decide not to. To me, it doesn't matter. I just want to help you buy smarter. While termites have been found in new construction, typically I found them on older houses with wet, damp basements. So when you walk into a basement, the first thing I want you to do is to check all the wood framing for termite mud tubes like this. This is an obvious example of termites on wooden framing. Sometimes the mud tubes dangle or hang down, like in this picture. Usually, they are against the wood framing. Termites have distinctive mud tunnels like this. No other insect I am aware of leaves a trail like this. Sometimes the mud has been wiped down or has fallen off, but you can still see the marks on the wood where the termites used to be. There are some other termite clues in this picture that most will miss. Notice the extra support board nailed along the floor joist. This is a very common way to reinforce the main wooden support beams once they have been compromised by termite activity. It's not an adequate way to reinforce the support boards, but it is a common way. Whenever you see boards nailed like this along the top of the support boards or the floor joists, spend some extra time looking in those areas for problems. Also, do you notice the new OSB wooden floor? There's a good chance this was replaced due to termite damage. The second area to look for termite mud tubes is along the foundation walls. Termites make mud shelter tubes anywhere they travel, so look all around your foundation wall. Doesn't matter if it's a brick foundation wall, a block, a concrete, or even a stone foundation wall. Look all over your wall for mud tubes just like this. They run up and down. Sometimes you'll see little zigzags, but it always is a similar appearance and it's always mud. The third place that I want you to look out for termites for in a basement is actually right underneath the wooden steps. You'd be surprised how many times you can find termite mud tube shelters right underneath the steps. If I'm looking at a house, thinking about buying it, and I find termites, am I going to walk or am I going to put an offer in? And the answer is it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. So I can't give you an answer that's going to apply to everything, but what I'm going to do is give you a framework that you can use to start filtering through some of the decisions that you're going to have to make. You're going to need to talk to experts and form your own conclusions, but I can at least give you some guidelines and things to start thinking through. So the first thing I'd be wanting to know is personally, do I really want the house? If I'm borderline, maybe I do, maybe I don't. If I found termites, I'd just walk because, quite frankly, I'm not going to want to spend the extra money to properly diagnose this with advanced inspections, and it just wouldn't be worth it for me, so I'd walk. Then the second thing I'd be thinking through is if I really want the house, providing it's not about to fall down or providing that it's not going to cost a fortune to fix these issues, are there hidden issues that I can't see? And even the issues I see, is there going to be a cost associated with reinforcing the structure? So I'd want to have a structural engineer come out and look at the entirety of the structure because they're going to be able to pick up on subtle signs of insect damage that are otherwise invisible to other people. So structural engineers, they don't have an incentive to say the structure is good or the structure is bad. They're going to come out and just give you an evaluation. If it's good, they'll tell you that. If it's bad, they're going to say you need to do this, 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 and this. And if you do this, then it'll be considered structurally sound. So if they find problems, then you can have a structural contractor or a licensed general contractor, whoever that would be in your state, give you a couple different quotes for how to fix the problem. What you're also going to want to do is you're going to want to have a pest control company come out and look at it, because I want to know what is it going to cost to treat, and then what are the ongoing maintenance bills in terms of treatment going to be, because a lot of times treating termites, it's not just one and done treatment. It is a reoccurring, ongoing expense that I'm going to have to budget for years to come sometimes, potentially indefinitely, depending on the situation. So I want to know, what is it going to cost now? How extensive is the problem? And then what are the costs going to be associated going forward? So once I had a better grasp on all of those issues, that's going to let me really make an informed decision on, do I want to buy the house? Don't I want to buy the house? Now the trick becomes, a lot of these advanced inspections, and when you start sinking money into a house, a lot of times it's after you have an accepted offer. So you're going to have to talk with your real estate agent about the best way to work through that if it's a house that you want and you suspect that there's probably some issues. But hopefully this video is going to give you some things to look out for, because last thing I want is for you to make an offer on a house and then an inspector comes out and finds something very obvious that you are going to later think, oh, this should have been really apparent to me. Well, these are difficult issues, and a pest inspector is going to do a whole lot more than just the things I showed you in this video. So it's a pretty extensive process, looking through, making sure there's no pests or termites on a house. And I would really encourage you not to skimp on inspections. Go ahead and get those done, because the last thing you want is a bunch of hidden problems that are going to cost you money down the road simply because you didn't want to pay a little bit of money up front to make sure you're getting a good house. Hit that subscribe button to keep arming yourself with tips on how to buy smarter.